This is Andi Purewal for Boxing Social in association with Betfred, and for the first time since November 2019, I'm delighted to be joined by Bob Arum in person. Bob, how have you been keeping?
Really good. I'm double vaccinated. I feel invulnerable, so everything is good. I've met people after not being with them for over a year, and we have such great restaurants here in Las Vegas that I've had an opportunity now to been to a number of them, so that's good.
Bob, we've spoken a couple of times over Zoom during the pandemic, but as this is the first time we've been able to catch up in person, working throughout this past year or so, how have you found it trying to keep boxing going with Top Rank?
It's been very, very hard to do the number of fights that we've done, number of events that we've done, without any spectators, without any gate, just spending money on testing and bubbles and whatever, has really been a massive problem for us. But like somebody who's been in a storm and the sun is coming out over the mountain, we see better days ahead.
We certainly do see better days ahead, and what a fight for me to be able to travel out to this Saturday. Josh Taylor versus Jose Ramirez, undisputed bout at 140 on Fight TV in the UK as well. Bob, talking about this fight, what a fantastic matchup.
Well, it's a great matchup. These two undefeated fighters, each with two belts, great young men, really dedicated. It'll be a great fight. The only downside for me is that under normal times, I would have put 15,000 people at the MGM, and now I'll have a little under 1,000 at the Virgin because of restrictions on crowds. But it is what it is, and we have to be grateful that we're going to get as many as 1,000 people allowed in, because a few weeks ago that wouldn't have been possible.
Bob, with the fight itself, a lot of people seem to think there will be plenty of occasions when Jose and Josh just meet in the centre of the ring and just trade leather for as long as either of them can stand. Is that what you're expecting? Are you expecting a firefight on Saturday night?
Yeah, I mean, my matchmakers have seen Josh in training, and he's in great shape, and he's a terrific fighter. And they went to Riverside, California, Friday to see Jose, and they said they'd never seen him look as good as he does. I mean, this is a really classic kind of fight where nobody with any degree of certainty can pick the winner.
What's the general feeling been like out here in America? Certainly in the UK, obviously a lot of people getting behind Josh. Whilst I've been in America, I've seen a fair few people kind of edging towards Josh as well. But what has the general feeling been like as to who people think will edge the fight on Saturday?
Again, we're a multicultural conglomerate of people. So if you ask the Mexican Americans, who constitute a lot of our fan base, they are pretty unanimous for Ramirez. But if you ask African Americans who they think is going to win, a lot of them pick Josh Taylor. Truth is, nobody really knows. So anybody can have a good time picking a winner, and there'll be massive betting on this fight. But again, other than the predilections of the fan base, you can't tell who's going to win.
Bob, do you think whoever is successful on Saturday night will be successful via knockout?
I have no idea. I have no idea. For me to say that the winner will win by a knockout or the winner will win by a decision, the fighters have no idea. Neither do I. I mean, I can conceive of all different kinds of endings for the fight.
Moving forward and on from this fight, what do you think will be next for the winner? Josh has spoken openly about potentially moving up to 147. I know Jose would potentially do the same as well. Do you see that being the most realistic outcome for whoever is successful?
I think the winner of this fight has agreed to give Catterall a shot. Hopefully things clear up in the UK and we can do the fight over there. But we'll see. Certainly, I have Terence Crawford available to fight either Josh or Jose, whoever wins the fight, and that would be a tremendous fight.
What is the latest with Terence? Bob, just touching on him there, what is the latest with regards to his next outing?
Well, he was going to fight Pacquiao in Abu Dhabi. That didn't come off. So we're looking around for a big fight for him with spectators sometime in the fall of this year.
Just to stick going back to Josh and Jose, I saw Teofimo Lopez a few days ago and he said he'd be happy to face the winner of Saturday night's fight. Do you think that could be realistic, Teofimo versus one of those guys?
Well, Teofimo's a terrific fighter and he's had nothing but success. And if he gets by his fight with Kambosos and we get through with the Catterall fight, it might be a very attractive fight for the winner to fight Teofimo.
Have you spoken to Teofimo about what his plans will be after the Kambosos fight, obviously being signed to you guys?
He said he won't have any trouble making 135 for a couple more fights, but he would like to go up to 140 and fight the winner of Taylor and Ramirez. I think realistically, because of Catterall, that Teofimo will give Teofimo another fight at 135, maybe against the Linares Haney winner.
What do you make of that fight? What's got? I know it's on a matchroom card, but Linares Haney.
Linares is an excellent fighter. Haney could very well be an excellent fighter, but he's unproven. So we'll have to see. If Haney can handle Linares, that's a big plus for him.
Moving forwards again, Bob, and of course there's a huge heavyweight fight which is on the tips of the tongue of everybody in the boxing world. Joshua Fury, we saw Tyson's video yesterday saying that he's had some confirmation from Saudi the fight will go ahead. Can you just update everybody as to where things currently stand?
Well, we have a few more points. Funny enough, the fighters are on the same page. There is no controversy between the two fighters as far as going ahead. So the Matchroom, Queensberry, and Top Rank and their lawyers are working to finalize the contract with the Saudis. We've made great progress. Both fighters are eager for the fight. So hopefully it'll happen August 14th.
We've seen Eddie Hearn on a week-to-week basis say announcement next week, and so on. Do you have an idea in your mind when we will have just an official announcement?
No, but I don't know exactly when we'll be able to announce it. We were slowed up with Ramadan and Eid, or whatever it's. We were slowed up because of what was happening, with the Saudis, and nothing to do with boxing. Now that Ramadan is over, we'll proceed at a much quicker pace. I'm realistic that I think realistically it could be signed this week. But again, I don't know. I mean, Eddie talks aspirationally. Hey, the thing is going to sign tomorrow. Well, he'd like it to be signed tomorrow. But there are a lot of issues that the Saudis are dealing with. But again, the point that I have to make is that there are no issues between the two fight camps.
Bob, how confident are you we see Fury AJ this year?
I would assume I would be shocked if we didn't. I really believe this is happening. Prince Khalil has put his name on it. He's a very high figure in the Saudi government. I mean, I'm convinced that this summer we'll see that great fight take place.
Saw a reported site fee of around $150 million, Bob. Can you just kind of talk about that?
Well, it's more than just a site fee. It's a buyout of all the rights, and I'm not going to talk about the exact number. It's a little higher than that you've mentioned, but it'd be the most massive fee paid for any boxing event in history.
For you, Bob, you've worked in the sport for many years. Where would this fight rank in and amongst your entire career in the sport?
Well, again, the sport caters to audiences all over the world. In the United Kingdom, it will be the biggest boxing match of all time. Two undefeated British heavyweights, each with a claim of supremacy, fighting it out. It'll be huge in the UK. In the US, it'll be big because Tyson Fury has captured the US fan base. They love him. They can't get enough of him. But, the last time Americans here saw Joshua, it was not so good. Andi Ruiz put him out. So it'll be a big fight here in the United States, but not as big, anywhere near as big as it is in the UK.
Bob, can I ask you about kind of the television networks and what have you with the fight? Have you guys started to discuss where it will be broadcast and which companies will have the rights across the world?
Well, Eddie, as far as Joshua is concerned, has a contract with Sky. Frank Warren for Queensberry has a contract with BT. So the pay-per-view in the UK will be distributed by both of them, and they've worked together. They'll make that decision. In the US and Canada, it'll be distributed by ESPN, and it will be sold on ESPN Plus and all the other platforms. So, it'll be worked out. Now, for the rest of the world, again, the Saudis will determine who puts up the most money for the rights, and I'm not prepared to say whether it'll be the DAZN or maybe various networks around the world.
Final thing on it all, Bob, there's still people waiting to see what happens with Deontay Wilder's arbitration situation. Have you got any update for us on that?
Well, we'll know today. The judge is coming down with the decision today, the arbitrator coming down with a decision today, and we're optimistic that it'll allow the fight to go ahead.
I've probably timed this poorly then, Bob, coming down before him, but what's kind of the worst case scenario if it didn't go the way that everybody would like?
We don't talk about worst case scenarios. We know what has been said, what the issues are, and we're optimistic that the fight will proceed, Fury and Joshua, on August 14th.
Moving forward again, Bob, I've seen Jamal Herring a couple of times whilst I've been out here in the States. What is next for him? Is it Shakur Stevenson? Is it Oscar Valdez? What do you think will be next?
Well, Shakur Stevenson's fighting here in Vegas against this African number 2 for the interim title, 130 at WBO. And then the two boys will fight sometime the end of this year. And I would hope to put that fight in Madison Square Garden.
So the likelihood will be Herring versus Stevenson?
Yes, correct. He's obligated to, and he sent a letter to the BO agreeing to fight Stevenson or the African boy, whoever wins on the 12th.
Moving forwards once again, Joe Smith Jr., I've seen some talks coming up about a potential Beterbiev fight.
Who?
Joe Smith Jr.
Yeah. we're hoping to do that fight in September with Smith Jr. against Benavidez. That would be, that would be a collision. So we're hoping to do it either in Madison Square Garden, either the 15th or the 22nd of September.
I've got to ask you as well, a couple of weeks ago we saw Canelo Alvarez overcome Billy Joe Saunders. A lot of people seem to think Canelo will clean up at 168, and if he was to have any issues it would be up at 175. Do you think that Canelo up at 175 is kind of where his limitations would be found?
No, I think it would be very dangerous for Canelo with his size to go to 175 to fight a Benavidez or even a Joe Smith. But he's a courageous kid, is Canelo, and he might do that. But I think that at 168, he has a real obstacle with this Benavidez kid. I think Benavidez is capable of beating him, or at any rate giving him a really good fight.
I mean, just one thing I want to get your thoughts on, Bob. In about a week's time, or about 2 weeks' time rather, we see Floyd Mayweather versus Logan Paul. I just want to get your thoughts on the crossovers of YouTubers and boxers, and in this case, somebody who many consider one of the greatest boxers of the generation.
Look, as long as nobody is putting a gun to anybody's head, if people want to buy that crap, they can buy it. As far as I'm concerned, it's not boxing, it's a joke. And I wouldn't be involved in it. But again, no harm, no foul. If people want to pay money to see that, so be it.
Right, Bob, I'm going to leave a final word to yourself. Let everybody know, whether it be in the UK or in America, why they should tune in to watch Taylor Ramirez on Saturday night.
People want to see a great fight, really a great fight, which could very well be a historic boxing classic. That is the fight to watch. Josh Taylor against Jose Ramirez, two splendid athletes with a lot of pride and a lot of determination. There's no quit in either of them.
Bob, I appreciate your time today. It's good to see you once again. Thank you for speaking to Boxing Social.
My pleasure. And everybody over in the UK, enjoy a great event Saturday night, or I guess Sunday morning where you are.
Thank you, Bob.